Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from the ACT Computer Studios in Cape Coral, Florida, it's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, OG5? Hopefully y'all can hear me.
Let's just have the conversation. Not every liberal is dumb, not all Republicans are racist. The government wants everybody fighting with their neighbors because they know that if we get along, we'll probably go against them. They can't stop us. Cause we're ready to fight, trying to brainwash us. But we won't let freedom die. The whole world's brainwashed. Everybody pick a team, start a riot in the streets. The whole world's brainwashed. It's us against them, it ain't you against me.
For those of you keeping track, I did in fact take a shot of tea, a shot of Mountain Dew, and a shot of bourbon. Because why not, right? Happy late Thanksgiving, I guess we should start out saying.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've been all together. How was your Thanksgiving, fella?
My Thanksgiving was good.
You failed at your job again, by the way.
What's that?
You failed at your job again, by the way.
Oh. Hey, hit that thing you're supposed to hit.
Yeah, I just now got to go and record the first 2 minutes off
Anywho.
YouTube later.
My Thanksgiving was good. I ate way more than I normally do on Thanksgiving because I know I'm headed back into I know I've said it before, but it's seriously happening in SNG this week. So
I've been living that lie too. I'm like, January rolls.
No,
up.
I've got to. My breathing's getting bad again. My weight's come back all the way back on.
No, I know.
When I go to the gym, I've got to lose weight quick because when I go to the gym, I actually hurt the next day, even doing cardio, all my joints and all my ankles and whatnot. So I have no choice.
No, but what I've been saying is I've been telling myself the same thing. It's like, I'm going to eat like shit right now because it's the holiday season. When January rolls back around, I'm going to get back in shape because I got 3 months for my next Savage race and all that stuff. But once again, I just drank some sweet tea, some Mountain Dew, and some bourbon. So my diet's still shit right now.
I had a shot of coffee with a little heavy whipping cream. That's it. It's good. Today is Happy Gotcha Day to little Oliver. Oh, so is 1 year ago today. We canceled the show abruptly. Did not come on because we had something important to do. And
going to cancel the show abruptly.
Well, no, actually, that's kind of interesting. We did have a cancellation abruptly recently.
But
no, we actually called off the show. I should say.
Finish your story first. You got.
But yeah, speaking of canceling a show abruptly.
No, I was giving you a chance to finish your story about Oliver. I was
Sorry, you got the cough button going, huh?
No, you finished a year ago today.
No, so we got him a year ago today. He was all over 3.5 pounds, and now he's about 20. So we do have an injury that we're working with, but otherwise, I actually did see a funny meme today. It was a picture of a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel pup, which he is, and all it said on it was bankruptcy starter pack.
And not the truth. Yeah, so if you remember Patreon, by the way, I don't know if it's... I got to figure out a way to figure out where Patreon members have come from, whether it's this podcast or the other ones. Hold on. Sorry, fighting a cold. Maybe I got the new variant. Who knows? We've picked up some new Patreon members, and Gordon and I were doing a new OG5 podcast. What was that, Sunday night?
Sunday night for you. Indeed.
Yeah, we were supposed to do it on Saturday night, but the week of Thanksgiving, I went out kayak fishing, got rained on for 2 hours, and went out the next day, got stuck in the wind, and then had Thanksgiving outside with no jacket. And somewhere along the line, I picked up a head cold where I can't stop sneezing. I sometimes I feel like I'm Ken Kniff from Connecticut when I get that weird noise up my head. But so anyhow, we moved the show till Sunday night. We're right in the middle of a show, and Carrie comes in, all freaked out, and has something in a towel. Apparently, Bailey has found a rabbit's nest in the backyard, and we were doing the podcast, and Bailey wanted in. Carrie opened the door, and she wanted out. And then she like would refuse to step away from the door. She would sit there and cry. And Carrie shut the door, and she would sit there and kick on the door. Carrie opened the door, and she would come in. She'd cry. And Carrie looked down, and she saw what turned out to be a baby bunny.
Ruh-roh.
Now, when I say baby bunny, it was in between pinky stage and full-fledged hair stage. So it wasn't pink anymore, but its eyes were still closed. Its ears weren't developed fully yet. It just started growing some hair on it, so it wasn't pink, but it was still closed eye stage. So we had to end the show. So if you guys want to hear all that came to be, head over to Patreon. And if you're already a Patreon member, just check your email or log in. You'll see the OG5 Bunny podcast up. You can listen to that in its short entirety. I think we made it a good 45 minutes for that show. Came to a screeching halt. And if you're not, just head over to d-410.com or what'sinyourhead.com and click on the Patreon link. If you are on a smartphone or an Android device, just because of the way the website's laid out, the orange banner will be all at the bottom of the page. If you're on a computer, it'll be on the right-hand side of your screen. Or you can just go to patreon.com and search for Digital 410. Sign up. It's $1 a month, $3 a month, whatever. Morgan, I got your stickers on the way. And by the way, I just posted on Patreon, in the process of printing up Morgan some What's in Your Head stickers. I got some other ones here. And so if you are a Patreon member, all you got to do is follow the instructions on Patreon, because I'm going to tell you how to do it here, because then you'll cheat. And get your free sticker sent over to you. But Morgan, I got you some What's in Your Head. I'm going to print you up some OG5. Right now they are gray. It's the same color as my Tundra. The only colors I have right now are gray and like the green of my shirt, which I was going to save for the WTSP podcast. But Morgan, if you want a OD green OG5 sticker, let me know. I got other weird, like, I would buy combo packs and I'd get like, there'd be like fluorescent pink and purple. That's why my Digital 410 sticker on my kayak is purple, because I knew nobody wanted a fucking Barney purple sticker on their car.
What's wrong with purple, man?
On your car? You want a Barney purple sticker on your car?
I'd stick it on the wife's.
I kind of like matching the stickers to the color of my paint.
Yeah, no, that's
so that's an option too. If you guys are members of Patreon and you like have a gunmetal gray or blue, you know, you want a sticker that matches your car, I can do that too. But anyhow, so yeah, so we scooped up the money. It was still breathing. Called around one of the veterinarians that was still open late. We went and dropped it off, and Crow picked it up the next day. Hopefully it survived. I don't know. But we went out and searched the yard. We found a divot in the yard with some fur and some grass, which looked like a rabbit's nest. I've never seen one personally, but I've seen them on TikTok where people lift up the grass and be bunnies under there. So usually it's like a divot where they kind of cover them back up.
Kind of go under the sod a little.
Yeah, that way when the mama's not there, they got protection from the elements. And we looked and looked and didn't see any more bunnies. We looked online. We know that most rabbits have between 6, 8, sometimes even 12 bunnies. But that was a rather small nest for that many. And we searched the yard and didn't find anything. And we got to think, well, shit, did she eat the other ones?
Bailey's got a belly full of bunnies. There's some alliteration for you.
Well, she didn't really eat her dinner. Huh. So anyhow, we just pretend that she
was her belly full? Did you check and see if she was a little swollen?
No, we just pretend she was being Lassie and found this wayward bunny and brought it to us, which is why she was acting so
It's a little
peculiar.
easier that way.
And so that was Sunday. Monday we go to work and this, that, and everything. Come home, we let her out. She runs and does her 2-foot karate chop on the door, like you'll be sitting there watching TV, because we have most houses in Florida, you have a slider in your living room, and then the master bedroom has a slider, so you can get to the lanai from either your master bedroom or your living room. And one of our screens has a hole in it. Well, it doesn't really have a hole in it. It's torn across the bottom of the lanai where it's not fastened. And I fixed all the screens but this one because Bailey runs through it, and I'm afraid if I fix it, she's going to run and bounce off of it and hurt herself, because since she's been a puppy, it's been like a dog door. And so she'll haul ass from the yard through the screen and then literally smack the door with both fingers. You're like, hey! Jump out. They're like, what the fuck? Because it sounds like a homeless person smacking in your door. That's how she gets your attention.
She knows how to get past those headphones.
And no, I'm talking about when I'm in the bedroom watching TV, she'll just run and kick the door. And so we open the slider, and she won't come in. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on. And she started doing the peculiar nonsense again. And Carrie's like, turn on the light, make sure there's not a bunny out there. turn out the light, and lo and behold, on the track, there's another bunny. And this one is ice cold, but not hard. Rigor mortis is not set in. This thing is ice cold, though. It's like, 60 degrees out there. This thing's cold. It was dead. So I don't know if there's another nest. I don't know if when she found the original nest, she was taking the bunnies out and playing with them like fucking toys and have them stashed all over the yard. So I picked up this bunny and disposed of it. And then we got out the flashlights and the phone lights and the light lights, and we did a 3-person search party throughout the yard again. We have a fence, so it's not like she's running in the neighbor's yard to get them. And we didn't see any more bunnies. She didn't bring any in today, but she brought us 2 bunnies in 2 days. So that's what's going on with that, which sucks. But, hey, when you get a Boston Terrier, she did kill her first rat before she was 1. She'll be 2 in February. And
they're
now
ratters, so bunny, rat, not much different.
Bringing us bunnies, bringing us bunnies.
Yeah, I was telling Katina about that, and she goes, I'm so glad Oliver doesn't do that. I was like, I'm expecting at least a lizard to show up in the house.
By the way...
But she thinks that they're too quick for him. I said,
nope.
Be surprised.
Yeah, Loki and Pity would bring us lizards all the time. I'm wearing the official Digital 410 Suck It Up Buttercup shirt. And Gordon is wearing the official Digital 410 Second Amendment shirt. And you can have these shirts and support the podcast all at the same time. Just head over to d-410.com, or as previously mentioned in the What's in Your Head podcast.com, find the logo of this shirt and or simply click the merch link. And it'll take you over to Teespring, or you can just go to teespring.com, search for Digital 410 as always. And we have a wide variety of shirts. I need to make some new ones. But yeah, you can use the promo code ILISTEN, which will basically take away any profits we have. But we're more interested in you getting the word out via our shirts than we are the $4 we make off of each shirt. So if you want to go support the podcast that way. And while you're on there, might as well get it all the way. YouTube, shirts. YouTube, we just hit 524. We're well on our way to 1,000. So if you want to go support the podcast, you want to see the video that got me sick, being drenched in the kayak in the rain, that's there. The video after Thanksgiving where I went out swamp fishing, saw some alligators, saw a 5.5 pound bowfin, and we caught a bunch of Oscars. Go check that out. That's on YouTube as well.
Seems like if somebody's tramping around in a swamp, you'd have at least a frog gig on you.
No, I had my clock on me, and I don't know if David he usually carries. I always forget to because it's always packed away. But whenever I go out, I mean to bring my K-bar with me, a nice pig sticker. But I always forget to. It's usually.
You guys have
away.
any wild boar out that way?
Yes, the guy I actually went fishing with, he handles wild boar, and 83% of the meat him and his family consumes are hunted. And then the store-bought stuff, he actually goes, there's a place out in Alva called KJ's, where they basically have a relationship with a local slaughterhouse. And so when you go there and you buy your steak, it's like killed yesterday fresh. And so you can
it's not a factory farm.
No, and so you can get really good prices as well. Oh, damn it. I just forgot. I was talking to you about the tag the other day, and then I remember what it was called, but then I forgot it again.
The tag.
The tag that you call, like if you have an alligator eat your dog or something that's kind of protected that you can't just kill. But like if you're a cattle rancher and a wolf comes and eats your cattle, then it becomes a threat. Then you can get a tag and kill it legally. I forget the hell it's called. It starts with a D. But anyhow.
I know in some states it's not even required, like coyotes or they're varmints out this way.
Well, it's even though they're borderline nuisance, alligators were protected for so long, it's illegal to molest them in any way without a depredation tag. That's the word. Ding, ding, ding.
Depredation. Now, do you need a depredation tag for your big lizard problem? Or
no, the iguanas you don't, but like if an alligator eats your, if you have a bunch of property or whatever, and an alligator eats your dog or your chickens or whatever, you can just call and say, hey, I got a nuisance gator, and they'll issue a depredation tag, and you can kill it legally and then consume it. You'll hear there's an episode of Yellowstone where a guy was killing his cattle and making it look, I think he used like a weed eater with a blade on it to make it look like it was being eaten by wolves. And then he was claiming depredation so that the state would pay him for the lost cattle, kind of like insurance, and it was a fraud. So that's going on. But yeah, no, the guy we went fishing with, he actually that night he got a call from one of his neighbors that they had some wild boar out there messing up his property, and so he was going to go look into that situation. I'm looking for... we haven't done one of these in a while.
And now for the What's in Your Head podcast TikTok lesson of the week.
Did you say thank you for doing my 50%?
Yeah. What did you just do?
I washed, dried, and put away your clothes.
Well, I took them off the hangers, got them dirty, put them in the hamper. That's my 50%.
And this
I
has
agree
been
with
the
that.
What's in Your
Sounds
Head
like a
podcast
perfectly
TikTok lesson of the
sound,
week.
thought-out argument to me.
Yeah, I dirtied them because I was, working. And there you go.
Where's the beef? I don't think there's anybody back there.
Bueller. Bueller.
6 minutes, Slim Shady, you're wrong. Welcome to an edition of Movie Review 80s Style. This is where we talk about old movies that we currently either rewatched or watched for the first time. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know if I'm old, cynical or what, but I am fucking got an ass full impacted of fucking superhero movies, even though I haven't really seen any of them. And it seems like so many movies now are just regurgitated, flushed out, stolen from Europe, already existing intellectual properties. And so I was just flipping through the old Netflix the other day, and I saw Midnight Run on there. I was like, I've heard a lot of talk about this movie, but I don't know if I've ever seen it. Made in 1988. Are you familiar with Midnight Run, Gordon?
I'm not.
Check. Rotten Tomatoes. Top critics 94%. Audience 87%.
Who are the noted actors and actresses?
Let me pull up another page because Rotten Tomatoes doesn't exactly make it super easy. Let me just go to
So you got a
Google.
little IMDb.
Yeah, let me do that real quick. I pulled up Rotten Tomatoes, but so I started watching Midnight Run, and let's see here, IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, blah blah blah. How's that for show prep? Made a whole goddamn intro for it. Wow, IMDb don't even come up. Let's check out the Netflix intro. Not intro, but I don't want to watch Netflix. Here we go. When Eddie McCone, played by Joe... No, that's not...
Robert De Niro.
Yes, there you go. I don't know why he's saying Joe Pantoliano.
Charles Grodin. Dennis Farina.
Yep.
Yapet Kato. Joe Panatolino.
Joey Pants. Joey Pantoliano.
Joey Pants.
Yeah,
John
he plays
Astin.
the mobster.
And there's a good cast. Let's see, Wendy Phillips, Robert Miranda.
Bounty hunter Jack Walsh is enlisted by bail bondman Joey Pants, Eddie Moscone, to bring accountant Jonathan the Duke Mardukas back to Los Angeles. See, the accountant had embezzled $15 million from Chicago mob boss Jimmy Serino, who is played by the guy who played the jeweler on Snatched.
One Dennis Farina.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically, after watching this, I realized that his whole act in Snatch, where he's on the phone from New York,
Probably this, right?
is exactly, that's basically what he did in 3/4 of this movie. He's on the phone, he's telling people to kill people, and at the very end, he gets on a plane and flies out. Kind of very, like, when they made Snatch.
Almost like it was a nod to this
it's
movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, accountant embezzled 15 from Jimmy Serino. Before skipping on the $450,000 bail Moscone had posted for him. Walsh must bring Mardukas back within 5 days or Moscone defaults. Moscone says the job is easy. It's a midnight run. But Walsh demands $100,000. Walsh is then approached by the FBI agent, Alonzo Morrissey, and hijinks ensues. The accountant, if you're in your 40s, you probably know him best from playing the dad on the kids movie Beethoven with the Saint Bernard. That's where I recognize him from. But this is kind of like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles meets a mobster movie. It's a comedy. It's a comedy, but not to give anything away. It was from 1988. He goes to put him on the plane.
I don't think you have to worry about spoilers.
He goes to put him on the plane. The Duke's, I can't fly. He makes a big scene and get kicked off the plane. So now they hop on a train. And of course, there's a bunch of B stories. There's a mole working for the bail bondman who leaks information to the mobster. There's a mole working in the mobster who leaks information to the FBI. So now you got 3 different parties. And then there's another bail bondman who's brought in by the bail bond agent because he thinks Walsh is messing everything up. And so you basically have 4 different groups of people trying to bring this one person to L.A. or arrest him or kill him, depending on what side you're on. But they start out trying planes, the trains, the car, road trips. It's a funny ass movie. It was so enjoyable to watch something back then. No cell phones to spoil a plot, no Google Maps. It's just like basic comedy. You're on the road. It's just a road trip movie mixed with a good comedy, mixed with mobster stuff, and it's a damn good movie.
Speaking of comedy,
and it's a young De Niro.
Yes, it is.
We think of De Niro as the serious mobster movies. And if you hadn't seen Midnight Run and you only knew De Niro from his more serious roles, you might think that De Niro really didn't do any comedies until he started dicking around with Meet the Fockers. But no, Midnight Run, he shows his comedic chops, and there are a lot of good jokes in this. There's a lot of good bits in this. A lot of nice 1980s humor before everybody was all woke. It's just a damn good movie. So if you want a nice movie to watch on Netflix, if you're a young cat who now thinks the 80s are cool, you want to see what the 80s were like in the 80s without trying to be 80s. And that's the thing, too. This movie wasn't overly 1980s. It's not like, you're watching a Miami Vice episode or you're watching, some teeny
Did it
bopper
have the
movie.
80s soundtrack, though?
It had a little bit of the 80s soundtrack, but it had your 1980s car chases, a lot of helicopters.
You mean when they actually did real car stunts and
real car stunts, fucking real helicopter stunts, where helicopters like flying under bridges and then like over the roads down along the ocean and flying past mountains. But once again, 94% with the top critics, 87% with the audience. Let's see, performance in the mirror made entertaining. Check it out, Midnight Run. You'll see a lot of influence of what future influence that this movie may have created in the genre of Hollywood and comedies. But definitely check it out. You'll be happy you did.
Speaking of comedy, so they had opened a new Chick-fil-A near us, and I had never had a breakfast. I was leaving the gym, so I figured, what the hell? I'll just put all that weight back on, all those calories back on, and it went in next to a place that's been there a long time called the Parkway Tavern. Methinks that the Parkway Tavern wasn't really hip on them moving in and I did send you a picture of this, and it says basically drink more beer with a chicken.
I saw that online too.
So did somebody post it online?
I think so. Maybe it was on TikTok.
But I was having fun with the humorless fast food workers out there today. Said it brought that sign up, and the first girl completely ignored me. And the other one, the guy because evidently a credit card guy had to take my credit card. He said, yeah, they're stealing our stuff. I say, well, clearly you don't get it. Number one, you work for a highly Christian organization who probably doesn't look kindly on drinking.
It depends on which, Christians, I guess. And
number two, it's just fucking funny. So I thought that was a good shot.
And I don't think you can own copyright on 2 words out of a phrase.
Well, it's how it was spelled, how it was written, but instead of cows, it was chickens. That's the funny.
But
funny
what
part
I'm saying is they can own a patent on eat more chicken, but they and they can own a patent on the font. Once again, I knew a guy who does digital imaging. He has published in Mad Magazine. He started making Burrito Life stickers in the same font as Salt Life. Who knew that Salt Life is Sue happy, and they hit him with a cease and desist, telling him that he couldn't sell these Burrito Life stickers, so he simply gave them away. Because it's not saying you cannot not make a profit off of them, you just can't make a profit off somebody else's intellectual properties. So, you know, depending on the font, they could potentially get a cease and desist on that. But
Well, I'm looking at the difference between the fonts right now, and it looks like the Chick-fil-A font has a little more drippy paint than this one. So I think they will escape it quite well.
do you enjoy a restaurant purchased hot dog?
Two places.
Okay.
One, there's a place that was opened up called Freddy's. And Freddy's is out of Wisconsin. So I could get some good cheese curds. But they also have a Chicago dog made with the real Vienna Chicago hot dog. So
do you know what brand
those are
hot
good.
dog that is?
Huh?
Do you know what brand hot dog it is?
Vienna. It's with the big yellow V.
How do you pronounce, is it Salines? Sahlens?
I have no idea.
Salines? Google it. You may have seen a Saline hot dogs, I think it is.
And I would say that I like their Wiener Schnitzel, but they're just too fucking pricey.
You ever had a Nathan's famous hot dog? As in Nathan's world famous from New York with the hot dog eating contest they do every year?
I'm going to do something horrible and ask you to spell that again, Celine's.
Sahlen''.
There it is. Ooh, there's one here.
That's the
We
brand.
have a Celine's since 1869. The family owned and operated Salin, I'm going to say is how to
Salins.
pronounce it, packing company has produced premium, high-quality meat for our family and local customers.
I
So it is
first became aware of that brand hot dog at Matt's Red Hots, which is down the street from K-Rock, but I'll get to them in a minute. We had a Nathan's famous hot dog open up in Fort Myers. And we had one open up in Cape Coral, and then they had a sign where they're going to break ground on another one in Cape Coral. And Sariana would go there, and their hot dogs didn't look anything special. They just looked like hot dogs. They weren't grilled. They were, I think, heated on a roller, but they just look like your regular run-of-the-mill hot dog you can make at home. So I never got one. I'd get the fish sandwiches or the hamburger, whatever. And Carrie would get their Coney dog, would never be super excited about it. The Fort Myers location closed down. And then this came out on the news the other day. Dateline, Cape Coral, Florida. Fans of the iconic New York hot dog purveyor, Nathan's famous hot dog, will no longer be able to head to Southwest Florida restaurant to get their fix. One can make the argument, if the store closed down, no one was going there to get their fix. Representative of the restaurants confirmed that the owner of the Cape Coral location on Del Prado Boulevard decided to close down this month. Plans for another restaurant had been advertised at the shopping center under construction on Pine Island Road that has also been canceled, according to the chain's representative. The second location on Cleveland Avenue, just past Edison Mall, was closed last year and has since been replaced by a taco restaurant. Nathan's fans can get hot dogs. Their hot dogs sucked. I'm sorry. We have a shit ton of New Yorkers down here.
Yeah, Nathan's aren't that good. They're usually skinless, too.
I was going to say, we have a shit ton of New Yorkers down here. That's the only reason why they open them up. And they don't even go. The reason why Nathan's world-famous hot dogs are famous in New York is because people associate them with the ambiance of being in fucking New York, right?
Yeah. So where does the Salins dogs come into play?
Well, Salins, I first was introduced to at Matt's Red Hot, and how they would cook them is they would cook them on an open fire grill.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would actually poke the skin with their flippers to make them charred inside. And I found those at Publix.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, sweet.
Yes, they do, actually, and they carry them at Sam's.
Well, here's what you do. How do you cook your hot dogs at home?
A lot of people just boil them in water.
How do you cook your hot dogs at home?
I will either cook it on sometimes I will boil it in water just to plump it up.
Mm-hmm.
I could either throw it on a cast iron skillet or out on my smoker.
I used to be a boiling hot dog guy, but I used to think I was smart. Instead of boiling them in a pot full of water, I'd boil them in a skillet full of a little bit of water. That way the water doesn't take so long to warm up and you don't take so long to make your hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Until I bought a pack of these hot dogs and it said pan-fried hot dogs. Okay. So I got out a pan. Probably didn't need to, but just put a little drizzle of olive oil in there just so that the pepper would stick to them.
And you get a little crisp on it.
And I put them on a low heat so they cook slowly. And I do the same thing Matt Red Hot does. I poke and I pop the skin, otherwise the skin starts inflating. They are the best fucking hot dogs. I have not bought anything. I've not gone back to any other brand. No freaking Nathan's Famous hot dogs. No Oscar Mayer's. No. What's the Jewish one?
Nathan's.
No, the other one. Hebrew National, not their hot dogs. Tell you what, go to Publix, get these fucking hot dogs, put them in a pan, fry them on a low heat, just so you get little brown marks on them. Put them on a fucking bun with some mustard. And you know what we did last night, Gordon?
No.
I was like, I want some hot dogs.
Because I like a good hot dog.
I said, I want some hot dogs. Carrie's like, get some chili. Fuck.
Well, if you do it right, you can find some Cincinnati chili.
She's like, you don't like chili? I said, well, I do, but to be honest with you, I don't like the flavor of your, what's the big brand, cheap chili in a can?
Your Hormel.
I just don't like the flavor of the Hormels. Like when I go to a place and I get a chili dog, if it has that flavor, it just turns me off.
You're looking for that Cincinnati chili flavor.
And so I go through and I spot a can of Skyline chili. So I grab some Skyline chili, and I grab some saline hot dogs. And now, the people at Skyline told me the cheese they use is Land O'Lake brand cheese.
Really?
Yes, they go through about 400 pounds a week. They shred it in-house. Now, you can go to Publix, and they have Land O'Lake cheese, but it's in the block. And I don't have a quality cheese slicer or shredder. Or
They're like $15.
I don't have a quality cheese grater. And so I just buy the Kraft mild cheddar and used it. But I told Carrie, I'm like, I hate to take money away from the fine people who work at Skyline, but if I can buy a pack of saline hot dogs and a can of chili and cheese for what it would cost for just one and a half of us to eat at Skyline and save the gas and the toll.
Well, don't sleep on. We actually pretty much quit eating pre-shredded cheese because there is a shit ton of preservatives in there that fuck up the texture and flavor.
Yeah, I know.
That's
What's up, John
actually
Kraft?
one of Katina's jobs as my prep cook is to shred the cheese.
Yeah. We go through a lot of cheese, though. The other thing we like to do is buy rotisserie chicken pre-cooked and then cut it up and then boil up some black beans. We did this on accident, and we've not turned back since. Don't buy regular black beans in a can. Buy black bean soup. Even if you're going to use it as a black bean. It has so much flavor because of the soup that it's soaking in that can.
It's got some onions and other seasoning in it.
It's so liquefied that you're not eating chunks of onion. So we buy black bean soup, boil it up, shred apart that chicken, put it on tortilla with cheese. Once the black beans are heated up, drop some on there, put it in a skillet, and make some homemade quesadillas. That's some damn good one, too. But try those hot dogs. Let me know next episode what you think. And I guarantee you, if you fry pan, and this, for those of you listening at home or watching on YouTube or Facebook, try this. This is the hot dog challenge. And email us or send us a Facebook message.
This is a white package with a smokehouse on it, right?
There's two of them. There's a red package and a black package. And I don't know. The difference is one has...
Let me share screen. This is what
one
I'm
of them has 10 less calories than the other.
Okay.
When I Googled it, the second image is what we have. Saline original hot dog. Smokehouse, yeah, it's a black package.
Yeah, this one's white at Sam's. That's just kind of weird.
Is it the one with the red stripe?
It's got red writing on it.
Yeah, I'm seeing that one on Google, too. That's a different package. It's the same company. But if you go to Google...
they don't have it at my local Sam's. Well, that sucks. Guess I have to keep looking.
But anyhow, for those of you who can find it, order it, try it, and email us and let me know if you'll ever go back to a normal other brand hot dog ever again. Because I'll tell you what we want. And I've cooked like 6 of these since I've discovered them at Publix.
We actually have several hot dog restaurants that I haven't tried here. One is called the Hoyt Doggery. That's down on the Strip. And then there's one that I have been to, and I didn't know what to think about it. It was okay. It's called Dirt Dog. And it's basically out of L.A., and one of their symbols, I think, is literally shoes hanging from a telephone line.
Amazon don't have this. They have the different kind, but they don't have the same package that Publix has. And the thing about the ones at Publix is they're super long, all right? And so, like, one hot dog is the equivalent of, like, 2 from Skyline. Because they're super long. But, yeah. That's enough hot dog talk for one day.
That is enough.
I gotta find.
Oh, they got ham, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
And Polish sausage. Yeah, I just
And
went to their
now,
website, and
to
I'm
be
now
or
regretting
not to
my
be.
decision.
Song.
Including the foot-long pork and beef hot dogs.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's what you bought. Yep. So, all right,
I'm
enough
trying to find
pork
my
talk for the
intro.
evening. So, what else is going on?
I'm
out
trying to find my
there?
intro for my next bit, but once again, son of a bitch. Why? I'm always losing shit. I got too many boards here. I found it the other day, but now I got the broken version of it again. Oh well. Oh, wait a minute. Is this one it?
I don't know if you're aware of this,
Yeah.
Gunnar, but there actually was music recorded before 1989. What is this? You're going to wear this to the show. You're going to wear the shirt of the band you're going to go see. Don't be that guy.
And now, to be or not to be that guy.
First one on the list for this week's To Be or Not To Be That Guy was submitted by Gordon. And that is the chin strap beard guy. Not to be confused with the Amish beard guy, but the chin strap beard guy. Where did you see this guy?
I've seen this guy throughout my life. All the way back to Montana, and this kid really did have like the pinstripe all the way around, right? But then I was watching 60 Days In, the newest season, and a guy had a full beard, but then he just had the chin strap pin right here. This guy did not make it out of holding. He went home.
Really?
And he was a CO.
I wonder why. Somebody messing with him already, or he just say, you know what?
He had a mental break. This newest season I'm watching, pretty much half the people go home early. It is such a difficult place. It's a place in Alabama.
Alabama? How
And
about?
It's one of these seasons I haven't watched all the way through, but since day one, put it this way, they actually had a second group of people go in that are all in either
We're staring at the top of
COs
your
or
head, by
law
the way.
enforcement. And I know I'm probably giving up some stuff, but I don't care. And needless to say, the thing I'm seeing is it's a leadership problem from the guy running the place down.
Huh.
That is my opinion. I don't know how it's going to play out. But new sheriff wants to figure out what the problem is. I'm like, well, it's obviously a leadership issue.
Yeah, right. First rule of management, everything's your fault. Next on the list of To Be or Not To Be That Guy. How about the 19-year-old who plays Xbox with 15 and 12-year-olds?
Oh, God.
To me, that's just a little creepy.
That's disgusting, guy. I mean,
Uh-huh.
if he is knowingly
Mm-hmm.
playing Xbox with 15 and 16 years or even younger, that's fucking horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you and I have been online, but we're always in our own private chat, usually.
Well, Carrie and I were talking about this, and when you're in a public chat and you get what normal people
squeaker.
refer to as a squeaker, you suffer through the game, and then you quickly back your fucking party off of that server so you guys get away from the squeaker, and then you go find a new one. You sure as shit don't send them a friend request and spend all your fucking
No.
time
Or you
hanging out
mute
with
him for the rest of the said game.
them. I can't handle squeakers. I haven't turned my Xbox on in 3 months, but no, I cannot handle squeakers. How about Lives and Dies by the latest trend guy? You seen this guy? The guy who's rolling around with bullets and Pit Viper sunglasses on right now.
You mean half the YouTube people I follow?
Yeah, right. It's absurd. Yeah, Matt with his fucking mullet. So come on.
Well, that's all part of the car thing, and I tell you, that guy's come a long ways.
I see
So,
people driving around with fucking Pit Vipers on, the freaking mullets. Now they're wearing the, as we previously said, the hip
Are they
pack
gonna
with a
have-
bandolier around their chest.
Are they going to have well, the next step would be the WrestleMania shirts, right? That are ripped up and Macho Man Randy Savage style.
Yeah. Starting to see cats rocking the peg rolled or tight rolled pants again.
Well, the one fad that I hated seeing, because I'm sorry, it's just not flattering on. I don't care how skinny the girl is, the high waisted pants. It makes them all look like they got a belly.
Makes them all look like they're wearing fucking mom pants.
Yeah.
Acts like an expert on any topic of conversation just to fit in.
Oh, so this guy.
This fucking, I used to host a show with this guy.
I can't stand. Especially if this guy just learned something and he's an instant expert.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks he can settle your hash.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, oh, that's cute. You're going to learn. Yeah, that guy. And I run into these people at different various jobs. I always call it the second-year apprentice syndrome.
Yeah.
It's the most cocky electrician apprentices I've ever met. And I was probably one. Was a second-year apprentice because you think you know it all, but you don't know shit. And you're out just trying to bust balls.
Or you could be at a party or something and you talk about, you're talking to somebody about something maybe semi-obscure that few people are involved with, and somebody may have watched 1 or 2 YouTube videos on it, and now they're jumping in, oh, yeah, what you got to do is this.
Oh, a guy I know, Narcissistic Ned. Well, he went out up into the mountains. He's from the big city. He's a city slicker. Think the movie, think the town that they're from. Hung out in this little place, little ski town, this summer for his first time, and now he wants to move to the country.
Damn. No,
Yeah, dude, I've been in both. Be quite honest, I'd rather go back to the country right now, but at least I have the experience because living in Montana, I've seen a lot of motherfuckers melt down.
I was out fishing with Dave. Not Dave the Waterman, but David. Lifelong cracker. His family has such long ties to this that the places we were fishing that are now state and city properties used to be owned by his great-grandparents as part of their cattle ranches.
Can you issue a disclaimer for cracker and the true meaning of cracker? Because a lot of people may not understand the term cracker. I don't think it's offensive.
Hi, my name is Tom McDonald. Welcome to the show. If you are easily offended, then you probably should go.
Now, let's just go with the dictionary definition of Florida cracker. Cracker meaning. Florida cracker, according to Wikipedia. No, I'm not going to. Florida crackers were colonial era British and American pioneers settled in what is now the United States of Florida. I'm sorry, it's now the U.S. state of Florida. The term is also applied to their descendants, kind of like how some young ladies refer to themselves as daughters of the Revolution. Yes. Present day and their subculture among white Southerners. The first crackers arrived in 1763 after Spain traded Florida to Great Britain following the later victory over France in the 7-Year War. Through much traditional. Basically, the phrase cracker comes from, because these guys were all cattle ranchers. Cracker was the sound of the whips that they made when they were driving their cattle. The term cracker was used during the Elizabethan era to describe braggarts and blowhards. The original root of this is the Middle English word crack, meaning entertaining conversation. The noun, blah blah blah. But yeah, most people down here will tell you that cracker comes from the use of the bullwhip.
I like the braggart and blowhard.
Me too. Because
I would say narcissistic Ned is technically a cracker.
Okay, here we go. The word later associated with the cowboys from Georgia and Florida, many of the descendants of those early colonizers who have migrated south. The folk etymology suggests that the name cracker instead derives from the cracking of cattle drove whips. So that is the folksy version, but the original version. But anyhow, this guy is a full-bred cracker.
So basically, Florida-born redneck white boy.
Yeah, and to get back to what we're talking about, and people who assume they're they're experts on topic of something they just got introduced to. I'm out fishing with this guy. This guy hunts hogs. He hunts deers. He does depredation tags on alligators when it's necessary. I have done none of the above. I have fished quite a bit, but nowhere near this guy's life expectancy. If, per se, another person of his ilk was out there with us that day, and David and random person number 2 were having conversations about hunting hog, deer, alligator, what have you, I sure as shit wouldn't interject and pretend like I knew I was an expert on the situation, because I had never done any of it other than fishing. But there are people who want to fit in so badly, who maybe watched a few videos on YouTube, would take up the mantle and act as if they were seasoned hog hunters. And those people drive me nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's one that happens to me quite a bit if you're a runner or even a bicyclist. You may run into this.
Hey, baby.
Walks 3 abreast down the sidewalk with their dog
fucking
and don't
God.
give you a wide berth even though you're running on the oncoming direction.
Now, that's a close cousin to the gaggle of girls in high school that would walk down the corridor 5 abreast, right?
I'm running down a bike trail that's got to be at least 6 feet wide.
Okay.
It runs all the way down Del Prado. And I am running towards these 2 women and their dog.
So
And
you're coming
towards
face
them.
to face, right?
They're coming towards me, and I didn't come around a corner. When I first saw them in my sight, they were a good 200 yards away, and slowly made my way towards them as they were making their way towards me. So they had to know I was fucking coming. And by the time I passed them, I am running on the edge of the sidewalk, damn near stepping in the grass, because, heaven forbid, these 2 plus their fucking dog, one of them couldn't either speed up or slow down to get in front and or behind the other one to give me a little bit of space. No, instead it was the dog, her, 2 feet, and the other one, and they did not even budge an inch. And I ran by and said, I'm just one person, like damn near stepping in the grass. And it happens all the time.
So if you didn't give these ladies and their dog a wide berth and you move out of the way, would you have got the excuse you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And when I run a McGregor, I run into this with people driving golf carts down the running path, where I got to walk in the grass, even though they're literally driving a vehicle designed to drive in fucking grass. It's a golf cart.
And that running path is designed for
running
and bicycles, maybe.
These are actually sidewalks, and most cops will tell you sidewalks are not meant for bicycles.
This is true. I see this all the time out here. I'm like, and I actually asked the guy, why don't you ride on a road? He goes, I don't want to get run over.
How about this guy? Goes to the gym, spends more time talking than lifting, but still takes up a station.
Yeah, I witnessed that this morning, actually.
You and I talked about this.
Usually 2 ladies,
Mm-hmm.
more often than not.
Or a guy and a gal. Maybe
Or a guy and a
flamboyant
girl, or
guy.
2 guys that are always there all the time.
Uh-huh. And not only are they taking up a station,
In the 40s or 50s.
Not only are they always taking up stations, but if they're not taking up a station, they're standing in a corner, but they got like 6 different sized dumbbells with them so that they don't have to walk to the rack to change dumbbells, which I consider that part of the fucking workout. Are we here to work out or aren't we? But no, heaven forbid you do your reps with your 25 pounds and walk 20 feet, put it on the rack and grab the 30s. No, you take the 15s, the 25s, the 20s, and the 30s over to your corner. And then only one other person can use those because there's only 2 of each set there. It's like, come on.
Same guy who does multiple laps in the parking lot at the gym to find a place to park up front, which is also the same guy because we got 2 levels who gets on the elevator to ride the elevator up to the 2nd floor.
Yeah. We saw a lady. We were pulling into Publix on the day before Thanksgiving to buy some shopping. Busy day. And there's like a 1982, 1983 Stingray sitting in the middle of the parking aisle. Let's
You
see.
want to check your years. I don't think they made them after the 70s.
Okay, 1978 Stingray. Maybe it's a 78. Yeah. Okay, it was like a 1978 Stingray. Had like purple stripes down the side. Things idling. Blah 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 blah.
He's got a cam in it.
And walk by.
Oh well, I was incorrect.
What? They got 80 Stingray.
They were produced from 1953 to 1982.
Yeah, she had like the 80s one.
1984 to present, and 1953 to 1960. It's all over the fucking
She had
map.
like the 80s ones because it had the real fat fenders, the real sticky up
yeah.
fenders. Yeah. No, not the 83. Among the 83, the 83s, they start flattening them out. Like 1980 Stingray, the one, the big, yeah. And she's sitting there, blah, 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 and parked in the middle of the aisle so anybody who wants to back out can't. Carrie and I go in there shopping, come back out, she's still sitting there, blah, 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 blah. And now some other guy saying, "You're still there? What the hell are you doing?" And I'm walking by laughing, and she's probably the original owner of this thing. She looks like she's in her late 70s, burning down gas in her V8, blah, 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 blah. I'm waiting 20 minutes for a handicap spot. Mm-hmm. Now, me being a cynical fuck that I am, I look at Carrie and said, she's been sitting out here for 20 minutes. How handicapped can she be when she can still drive a standard V8 Corvette? I mean, if you can still push in a clutch, hit the gas, work the brakes with both your legs, you can probably walk a few yards from the parking lot to the front door of Publix. If you're really handicapped, you'd be driving a fucking brand new Kia like half the other old squares. But no, you're still driving your 1980 Stingray with your V8, and your clutch is probably well worn. You got to push halfway to the fucking dashboard.
All right, well, I'm going to now correct my correction. It was actually the Corvette that's made all those years. The Stingray was made from 1963 to 1967.
Well, I'm looking at images of 1980
69 to
Stingray
76. Corvette. After 76, it wasn't in production again until 2014.
Really? Because I'm looking at 1980.
Well, that's just your regular Vet.
Okay, well, it looked like a Stingray, but anyhow.
Yeah. So, anywho.
But she wasn't on my list. She just reminded me of it. Oh, this guy.
Don't be that guy who corrects you with facts and then thinks he's wrong about his facts and then recorrects his correction.
Conversates with the cashier for 10 minutes, even though there's a line of people behind him at the gas station or convenience store. I don't know what's worse, the person conversating with the cashier or the cashier holding on the conversation, even though she sees the fucking line of people out the goddamn door.
Number one, that's the cashier's fault. Number two, that person is also related to the lady or guy who gets in their car, goes to back up, and then sits there for 5 fucking minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to another pet peeve of mine. It's don't be this car company, GM, who, when you have them lock their doors or get out of their vehicle, the backup lights are on. So you think somebody's going to back up. In reality, they had walked away from their car.
Fucking stupid. And they are a far distant cousin from the Spins Forever trying to decide which lottery ticket to buy as if they don't buy them every other day because they're degenerate gamblers. I hate the lottery fucking line at the gas station.
God, I remember in Ohio being in a fucking hurry and I had to stop at a gas station and get some fuel and run in to pay and scratching off the scratch-offs. Right there after they bought it. Scratching. It's like...
Do we give a shit about the CEO of Twitter stepping down?
No.
Okay, we'll go ahead and discard that story.
How about the story about Putin drawing a line in the sand over Ukraine?
Doesn't surprise me. They did it back during the Obama administration. No one smacked their pee-pee, and so now they got, what, 11? They got 100,000 troops? Or no, how many? They got like a large number of troops sitting off the border of Ukraine right now.
Let me see.
I want to say 100,000. That sounds like a lot.
Putin warns West. Moscow has a red line.
Oh, boy.
About Ukraine and NATO. So basically, Vladimir Putin is warning NATO against deploying its troops.
So for those of you playing at home,
to the Ukraine to help out.
We got Russia threatening the UN over Ukraine. We got China doing war games with mock-up American naval ships.
Well, they also flew 27 aircraft over Taiwan this weekend, and Taiwan deployed their F-16s to follow them out.
Yeah. So
all we need is that Franz Ferdinand moment, and this shit's going to go sideways.
And Israel and Iran are starting to get iffy with each other again.
Well, Iran's saying it's 60 days away from weapons-grade nukes.
Yeah,
so,
fun.
Yeah.
Republican Congresswoman from South
Zionists off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Republican Congresswoman from South Carolina says President Biden's Build Back Better plan includes $80 billion in funding to hire some 89,000 more IRS agents.
I saw that and my heart sank.
How? Okay.
87,000 or 85,000? That's a lot of motherfuckers.
Well,
so
why do we need these motherfuckers? Yeah. How much of these fuckers get paid?
How many is that per state?
Well, not only that, but if there's $80 billion in funding to hire 89,000, how much are these fuckers getting paid a year?
So we'll say it's 89,000. I think that's a little high, but only a couple thousand off. I don't care. Out of 50 states, that's 1,780 IRS agents.
Now, why could you possibly need 80,000 more IRS agents on top of the ones we already have? Well, they will be tasked with, quote, spying on American bank accounts like socialist countries do all around the world. According to Republican Nancy Mark, South Carolina, reacted in the appearance on Fox News Channel Sunday Morning Futures to the highly contested IRS funding stipulations added to the Build Back Better plan.
They're assuming this is going to pass.
I think it already did pass.
It passed Congress. It hasn't passed Senate.
Okay.
They got 2 Democrats that are not on board currently.
Good. For those of you who don't know, it's wrong. $80 billion for 89,000 more agents to spy on our bank accounts. For those of you who don't know, part of the Build Back Better plan is Biden's administration. Biden don't want to. He don't know what the fuck's going on. He just wants to eat his fucking Jell-O and shit his pants. But he does what they tell him. Somebody who's controlling the Biden administration, writing up all this bullshit, they think it's people are not paying their fair share. And so once your bank account exceeds the extraordinary sum of $600, the IRS is going to start auditing your bank account and your spending to make sure that they are aware of everything you're buying once you exceed $600.
Now, about a month ago, I heard that provision went away and it went back up to 10,000, which is what it's been at.
Let's see if it says anything in here. It's wrong. $80 billion for 89,000 agents who spy on our bank accounts. This is America, Macy Representative Lowe County Regent said. This kind of thing has been tried in socialist countries elsewhere. It does not work. And the fact that we're going to continue to do this rather than to reform our tax policy to make more friendly and easier to use, either a flat tax or a consumption tax, we're going to hire all these agents to spy on our bank accounts. This is un-American. Quote, Republicans have a lot to run on next year, but the problem is going to be how do we reverse this bad policy if it goes through and gets passed, she added. The Build Back Better Act, that's a mouthful, is invest in the IRS to include $80 billion to hire some 87,000 more IRS agents. Really? Because at the top of your article, you said 89,000. So which one is it, Fox News? Which would result in
just as bad as the other ones.
Which is estimated at come on. This is 3 paragraphs down. So you said 89,000 in the opening paragraph. You said 89,000 in the third paragraph. But by the 5th paragraph, now we're down to 87,000. So we lost 3,000 IRS agents somewhere. Result in an estimated 1.2 million additional audits each year. Nearly half of these audits would impact families earning less than $75,000 a year. 1/4 of the audits would affect Americans earning $25,000 or more a year. That's interesting. So that's something we have to look forward to. I don't know. It's like with all the shit we have going on, inflation. This is what they wanted. Well, I'm not surprised. They've been wanting socialist shit.
Look, they've got one go, and it's until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. They are doing a full court press. I don't think they're going to get Manchin on board. It's going to take a lot. He's a coal state guy. He's from West Virginia, so he wants to keep those guys happy. Thank God he's moderate. Then you've got what's her name from Arizona. She was accosted in the bathroom by people wanting her to vote for it and not
That's insane.
Away.
I want to thank you guys for spreading the word. Our ratings have gone up over the last month.
That's good.
It's clearly not through advertising because we don't fucking do that. So clearly, you guys are spreading the word.
This is brought to you by
Act Computers advertises, but we don't advertise. Act Computers has been providing IT solutions for all of Southwest Florida since 2004. So give them a call if you need help with anything tech-related, 239-283-1120. If you have a computer that's not that old, but it's driving you nuts, we have had great success with upgrading people to solid-state drives. We just copy your hard drive in its existing format to a new solid-state drive, and that computer that used to take 5 minutes to boot will now boot as fast as your cell phone. Believe it or not, it is true. So give them a call at 239-283-1120. But here's a fun one. I actually saw this one on New York Post. And this isn't politics. Guess I might as well get this out of the way early, though. Because this is going to basically the people who complain about stuff.
Hi, my name is Tom McDonald. Welcome to the show. If you are easily offended, then you probably should go.
Generation Z makes up 25% of the workplace, but does most of the complaining, headline says.
Imagine that.
The oldest members of Generation Z turned 25 this year. And they currently make up 1/4 of the United States workforce. And they also gaining a reputation for generating, quote, the majority of workplace complaints.
Settle down, Sally. It's work.
It is a source of growing frustration among many of my fellow human resource professionals. This that the youngest people
Imagine
in the offices.
being a human resources person in this day and age.
Yep.
Ugh.
It is a source of growing frustration among many my fellow human resource professionals that the youngest people in the offices tend to bring grievances, that's the bourbon speaking, and misunderstandings no matter how minor the infraction may be. One HR director recently told me, quote, "We stopped offering free soda and you would think we imposed a pay cut." The complaints from one junior staff HR were unreal. They acted more entitled than anyone else.
Imagine that.
Another executive said,
You know what generation you blame for this, by the way?
not
Ours.
yours, but Big Lisa.
Well, no, we're same generation. X.
Yeah.
Our generation, yours and mine.
Yeah.
Because we decided to be helicopter parents because we were all locked in we all went home alone.
Mm-hmm. Latchkey kids.
And then what happens? The pendulum swings back the other way.
Yep.
And, we get this.
Well, I mean, it's the way it always works,
But
though.
fortunately,
I mean, look at the
I
kids.
can proudly say I did not contribute to it.
Well, that's the way it
all
always.
I got is animals.
And that's the way it always works. I mean, the hippies were the children of the greatest generation who fought in World War II. When you have an entire generation of men and women serve in the military, they're going to be, lockstep taskmasters and disciplinarians. And their kids rebelled by being hippies and growing out their hair. The children of the hippies swung the other way. They became the yuppies in the 80s and the Republicans. And then their children swung the other way and started doing the grunge and the goth in the 90s. And then here we are. Anyhow, back to the story. Another HR executive shared, "We had an employee who wasn't performing well and was given a performance improvement plan." That's mighty nice of them. The next day,
Fucked up now.
I got a call from reception that the employee's mother was there to see HR.
This is not the first time I've heard this.
She had brought a binder along with what she felt were performance examples to dispute the company's assessment of her child.
Here's a mother who has a long history of doing this with teachers as the child was going through school.
This generation, she added, seems to allow parental oversight enablement to a much longer period than previous ones.
That's why they were on the fucking insurance until 26.
Mm-hmm. There was a time when millennials were criticized for being too sensitive in the workplace. But the eldest members of Generation Y are now well into adulthood and pushing 40, old enough to be covered by the age discrimination laws. Millennials still have more in common with their junior counterparts than with the older Generation X crowd. They both grew up with the digital age and are more comfortable with technology and more motivated by work that does societal good, but attitudes evolve as people age, and one thing millennials and Generation X managers share is their frustration with Generation Z workers. And the story goes on and on and on.
Do you find yourself in Gen X TikTok?
Yeah, quite a bit, because I'm an old fuck myself. Carrie and I are taking it to the other realm. We have a meeting scheduled with the school of Nugget. Wanting to know why she's getting A's and B's when she should probably be getting C's and D's.
Tech savvy?
No, it's almost like they're just pushing kids along. We want to know why her grades aren't dictating her performance. Because Carrie's a teacher and she knows what grades mean, and she sees the homework being not put in and the lack of retention. And we're not doing this to be a dick. We're doing this because she's going to be in high school next year, and we don't want her to be behind because the middle school is just kicking them down, fucking getting them good grades to make their school look good. And then when she ends up in high school,
was the hardest time.
Supposed to be. But when she's kicking all A's, B's, and maybe 1D and barely doing the work, the question is, what the fuck's going on?
How much homework did you do?
None, but I had C's and D's and F's.
Yeah. Me neither.
She
just passed the test. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Can't
insane.
cheat. I'm in the front fucking row in the front fucking seat. Which was great for tripping teachers, by the way. Did you ever do that? Stretch your legs out?
No.
Because did they sit you alphabetical in your seats too?
No, by then it was... Well, some teachers did. Yeah, some teachers did. Speaking of schools, what's a more embarrassing title? Getting a free lunch or getting a reduced lunch? I was a reduced lunch kid. When we moved to Ohio, Melanie and Dad got me on the reduced lunch plan where we basically paid half of the going rate for lunch. But you couldn't do that in line, so you had to take your week's or month's worth of lunch money in and go get a white card. And then you would present that card, which would be punched, and you're on the reduced lunch plan. Now, truthfully, reduced lunch is better than free lunch because at least you're contributing a little bit. But I think the title of reduced lunch sounds
Reduced
worse
has a
than free
negative
lunch.
connotation.
Yeah.
Free has a positive connotation.
He's on reduced lunch. What does that mean? He gets 2% milk and diets? No, it means he only pays half his lunch.
Yeah, and he only gets half his lunch.
Yeah.
Is that what the fat kids get, is a reduced lunch?
That's what the poor kids got now. Everybody gets free lunch and free breakfast. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's another problem why kids are fat, because, we face that problem too, where we would have her pack a reasonable lunch and then find out
She still looks like she slimmed up a lot.
Well,
I know
she's growing, but this year she's gotten good. In 6th grade, though, she pack a lunch, go to school, get the free breakfast, go to lunch, get the free lunch, and then use her lunch she packed as snacks throughout the day. Because they're allowed to eat
So she's
snack
eating
in
like
class.
a hobbit, huh?
Yeah.
You got lunch, you got breakfast, you got post-breakfast, you got pre-lunch, you got lunch, you got post-lunch, you got 6 meals a day.
And I get it. We often talk about unintended consequences. The idea being there's a lot of poor kids out there who don't eat anything at home, so let's give them free lunches at school. But you have a lot of kids who eat at home too, and then they eat free lunches and free breakfasts and then 3 lunches at school. And then we wonder why we have a weight epidemic in this country, because after all, those school lunches are designed for poor kids who aren't eating. And so they're not exactly healthy. They're more like stick to the ribs, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I got a little non sequitur for you.
Okay.
Remember how last time we were talking about Maxwell and how we can maybe relate it to a Maxwell? I'm not sure.
Yep.
Well, there's one Maxwell I don't want us to be related to.
Maxwell House?
Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, she is a British socialite, which means there could be some connection there. And I'm wondering with that crew of fucking idiots and sick fucks that she apparently, allegedly, runs with, that she was just called Ghislaine.
Some people are, the tinfoil hat crew are trying to associate with all these CEOs, including the Twitter CEO, who are stepping down from their positions, maybe preemptively stepping down before their names are revealed in court or something. But that's
that
the
whole secret society.
That's the tinfoil hat crew.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy was, well, maybe in the
Epstein?
later years. No, the fucking CEO of Twitter. He wouldn't have been relevant in the early days, but I don't know how long that horrible shit went on. So maybe in the, Twitter's only been around for 15 years or so. So I don't know if he would have been relevant when that horrible shit was at its zenith.
Joining us now from the Digital 410 West News Desk in Las Vegas, Nevada, Gordon Abernathy.
Gordon, how you doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Getting good grades. My future's so bright.
Talking about people with a sense of humor. This is coming out of Lincoln, Nebraska from the AP.
Because when I think of humor and good times, I think of Lincoln, Nebraska.
How about Mr. Milton Andrew Munson?
I'd rather be Munson down here by myself.
He was an Air Force veteran,
a
pharmacist, a husband and a father. And like all good Cornhuskers, he was a Nebraska football fan. But it's interesting, and how big of a fan he may have been was evident in the one line of his obituary, because he did pass away at the age of 73 on November the 16th. The obituary read, "In lieu of flowers, please place an irresponsibly large wager on Nebraska beating Iowa." So the obit was written by his sons. It ran Thursday in the Hastings Tribune, the Lincoln Journal-Star reported. It caught fire on social media and captured the attention of 2 radio hosts. Josh Peterson, co-host of an afternoon sports talk show on KOZN AM in Oklahoma, and Jack Mitchell of KLIN AM in Lincoln, both AM stations, because that's probably where you only find talk, besides podcast. They decided to throw some money and make a bet for the Huskers to pull off an upset in Friday's game in Lincoln, but once word got out, listeners and others pitched in, and the total grew to $5,000.
Wow.
So, he's a devoted fan, and I think it's actually pretty funny that his boys did that. Now, Don, you like older things like cars, World War II, women. Well, I hope so. Boston. Like I got my Baston Scally
Your
hat
dog
on.
from Baston.
One of the first coins minted in colonial New England, which was recently found among other coins in a candy tin. Be funny if it was like a Altoids tin. Had sold at auction. Would you like to guess the price? This is one of the first coins minted in colonial New England, before there was a United States of America.
$53,000.
You're off by quite a ways. 350,000.
I didn't think
more than it was expected to get. The auctioneer said Friday. This 1 shilling silver coin made in Boston in the year 1652 is considered the finest example of just a few dozen such coins that are known to still exist.
What's the scrap value of that silver?
Not $350,000, I can tell you that. Wait, I'm sorry. More than $350,000 more than was expected. The auctioneer expected to sell it for $300,000.
Wow!
So now we're up to $650,000.
Damn!
Holy fuck! I could buy a couple of houses with that.
Or a really nice
I'm not
horse.
surprised at the amount of interest of this exceptional coin, and what it attracted, according to coin specialist James Morton. The price paid, which is above estimate, reflects its extraordinary historic significance and outstanding original state of preservation.
Outstanding.
So, to preserve something really well, you got to put it in a candy tin.
Apparently. I guess I need to put a lot of my World War II stuff in a candy tin. I got a Lucky Strikes tin.
Little history lesson here. Before 1652, coins from England, the Netherlands, and Spanish empires, amongst other nations, were the currency used in New England. But a shortage of coinage prompted the Massachusetts General Court to appoint John Hull as Boston Mint Master, responsible for producing
Mike.
North America's first silver coin. The mint was considered treasonous by one King Charles II.
Of course.
Was shut down in 1682,
Bastards.
according to the auctioneer.
Bastard ass bastards, I tell you.
So that is a lot of effing money.
Yeah, it is. For a coin.
British people like to drink.
Tea.
Well, they do have the pub.
Lukewarm beer. Back in World War II, they drank room temperature beer.
Well, that's actually Guinness should be about 45 degrees
Blech.
or warmer. Oh, I love Guinness. Good stuff.
When,
Not much alcohol in it, though.
During Operation Market Garden, when we invaded Belgium, a couple of the members of the 506th Infantry Parachute Division, as popularized from the television show Band of Brothers, a couple of them landed on the old Heineken roof, made their way through the skylights, and helped themselves to some Heineken beer.
Well, if you were said paratrooper, would you do the same?
Oh, absolutely.
You may die that day. You might as well have a little bit of a buzz. Dozens stuck in England's highest pub after a storm.
Saw that.
Dozens of customers who stopped for a drink at Britain's highest altitude pub got a longer stay than they bargained for. After the building was cut off by a blizzard, 61 people woke up Monday after their third night at the Tan Hill Inn in the Yorkshire Dales.
Yorkshire, sir.
Which is located 270 miles or 435 kilometers north of London. They have been unable to leave since Friday, when a late autumn storm brought snow and heavy winds that felled power cables and blocked roads.
Whoops. Apparently they shut off the power in California and fucking Malibu.
Yep.
Because they're worried about high winds knocking their power lines down.
All those rich people who couldn't have a real...
What the fuck you guys do if you lived in a hurricane area? How come my power lines stay up? They're not buried. But I digress.
Well, fortunately, they did have a chance to be entertained by an Oasis cover band, Noasis, who was also stuck in the pub since their gig on Friday night. Townsend said the guests were in really good spirits. Yeah, I bet they were. And I bet the spirits were all gone. Mm-hmm. They formed quite a friendship, like a big family, in the best way you could describe it. Well, you know, if I was to be stuck somewhere, I think a bar would not be a bad place.
Hi, honey bear. Hi.
She got a rabbit,
no.
buddy? Now, for the last story. And it's somewhat disturbing. And then it involves squatters.
And now, breaking news.
It involves squatters, Las Vegas, and dismemberment.
Sounds like a good time. Meth involved?
Squatters dismembered and bury a Las Vegas woman live in her home where she had died alone years earlier. Las Vegas woman was buried in her backyard this spring. Let me rephrase that. Las Vegas, I missed an important word. A woman found is the word, buried in her backyard this spring, was a victim of squatters who dismembered her already deceased body when they decided to move in. So police discovered
squatters' rights, man.
Lucille Payne's remains in her backyard. Wow, there's some alliteration there. Lucille Payne's remains in her backyard on Shorebreeze Drive in April. Payne is listed as the homeowner for the property near Lake Mead and Rampart Boulevards in the northwest part of the valley. Records showed that she purchased the home in 1999. I have questions.
Okay.
And you see if you form the same questions. Investigators they discussed that they believe Payne died in the home in the summer of 2018. What year is it?
21.
2018. What about bills and mortgages? This is what I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm.
Because she lived alone and had no close relatives,
automatic withdrawal.
Payne's body sat in a chair until squatters discovered it sometime earlier this year. Well, being that this is the desert and not the South, we got dry air. And with dry air, well, you get the next result. The squatters then decided to cut up her mummified body and bury it in the backyard.
Along with the recliner that had human waste stains on it from when she passed away.
Oh, yeah. After finding her, the decision was made between several people that they were going to dismember her body and bury her and basically drain her finances and sell off her belongings fraudulently. Because, you know, squatters are stand-up people.
Well, to answer your question, I would say she probably was getting Social Security or maybe a dead husband's pension automatically deposited. And then she probably had all her mortgages and taxes stuff taken care of, an automatic withdrawal. And since she wasn't spending on entertainment and all that, she's probably had that money is building interest over the last 3 or 4 years. And so it was all coming out in the wash.
Yeah, well, basically, or in the yard. And you are correct, because there's one thing you don't think about auto pay is when people get older. Neighbors had discussed that the home appeared to be empty for years. Police said that Payne had set her bills on auto pay, raising no red flags. Yep. Then there was a tip that sent the police to the home in April. She was not buried very deeply, and the officers started to move the dirt and found her arm inside a very shallow grave.
My dog carried home a femur and 2 dead rabbits, and I knew something was up.
Well, this is why I think having the walls came into play in this valley. Otherwise, coyotes would have that shit scattered everywhere. Spencer said initially the police suspected that she was murdered, but evidence later showed, probably the fact that she was human jerky, had been deceased for several years before the April discovery. Next door neighbors were able to confirm to us that they heard digging over previous couple of days and weeks. And then the squatters, they sold her car In addition to the charges for selling items that did not belong to them, they face charges of improper burial.
I don't care how old or dead someone is. For you to be in the mind state to disassemble them.
I don't want to disassemble an animal.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to be a sociopath or a fucking lunatic to be able to take a mummified corpse and disassemble them and bury them and go about your life.
What, man? It's just like dissecting in med school.
No.
You're not in med school, dude.
Yeah. People are fucking gross.
People are gross. So, yeah. Needless to say, these little fuckers are in some trouble. So we will...
keep us up to date on that story.
They will hopefully face, and I'm sure they won't in this day and age, where people can go and do these stupid flash mob robbing of stores.
That shit's insane.
Which is insane too, and it's like, when is it going to stop? But yeah, they'll get their comeuppance, I am sure.
As much as I hate to say it.
Do you?
I understand that these store owners are normal people. They don't deserve to have their shit robbed and all that. But when your entire state tries to get rid of the dumbasses who allow the shit to go on, and then you fucktards vote that person back in,
you reap what you sow.
Yep. And so you get what you ask for.
This concludes the evening news, and now back to the ACT Computer Studio in Cape Coral, Florida.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and thank you for sharing us with a friend and all that good stuff. And yeah, so I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. It's getting late. I'm losing my voice. And so on behalf of Gordon and myself, thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you all next week.
This has been a Digital 410 production.